This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1814, Black Widow movie review. Welcome to Comic Geek Speak. I'm Ian Legacy.
I'm Shane Kelly.
I'm Adam Murdo.
And I'm Chris Eberly. Nostalgia, that theme.
If only I actually remembered to had the "We are sexy bitches," ready to go. Then it would be entirely old school.
Wow.
Well, welcome one and all to the show, and we're here. This happened.
Physically present.
This is our present to you. This is our, I guess, summer spectacular.
Summer spectacular. Yep.
Yes, exactly. In person, live for the first time in more than a year and a half. I feel.
November 2019, Black Widow Spotlight.
Wowzers. All of us in person. Yes, which by pure coincidence, Black Widow then, Black Widow now.
Yes.
She brings the team together.
She clearly does, and she also brings some of the boys to the yard, but also a lot of women, in this movie, a lot of women, and we will get into that. Spoiler filled, by the way. And for those of you watching this one on YouTube, this is what it's going to look like. We got our setup going here. Not the same multi-camera setup that used to be here, because to go behind the scenes, our equipment is old enough now where XSplit doesn't work anymore. It literally gave us a message saying your hardware is old. So
Danger.
yes. So, but we did get ourselves a brand spanking new webcam, and one of the reasons we were able to do so is because of you, the listeners. That's right, you, the listeners. Finger guns, pew pew pew, over at patreon.com/Comic Geek Speak, and we thank you so much for your continued support of the show.
Yes, indeed.
We're here right now because of you, and the show continues to exist because of you. And we thank you so much for your continued support. And even those of you who have not donated to the show and just spread the word about the show, that matters just
absolutely.
As much. So thank you guys so much for all of that continued support over the years. Here. And also here are some gifties. So before we get into the main episode itself, we did get some stuff over the past year and a half,
at least
or more.
Yes. What better thing to do on a summer spectacular than open Christmas presents?
Exactly. It's not quite. It's Christmas in July. There we go. That's it. So I've got a present here from the long ago times. I love this. It's from Eamon Clark, one of our besties. Happy birthday crossed out, and then Christmas. Absolutely love it. It's a lovely TARDIS card here, for that matter. And everything is better with an
ape cover.
With an ape cover. Yes, Jamie D. Fantastic. And the absolutely beautiful Doctor Who wrapping paper on that one as well.
It's amazing to me how many different versions of Doctor Who wrapping paper he has found over the years.
I'm not surprised.
Oh, and it's awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure that like every year they put out a new Doctor Who wrapping paper in the UK, just for how huge it is. So that wouldn't surprise me. But here we are unwrapping this one, starting things off with Judge Dredd. Beautiful.
And nobody apes the law.
Nobody apes the law. Yep. Because again, it's all about the apes, baby. And this one, let's see. It is John Wagner and Carlos Esquerra on the creation here. And meet the primate perps. Welcome to Medi-City 1, the nightmarish metropolis situated. We know he is the law. We know that. But spawned from genetically altered apes created after the atomic wars, a sizable population of simian citizens now inhabit many of the mega cities and colony worlds. This ape-based anthology features stories from John Wagner, A History of Violence, Alan Grant of Batman, Arthur Ransom, a Button Man, and Jake Lynch of Judge Dredd himself. and I very much look forward to as much ape action as I could fit into a Judge Dredd comic. Thank you so much for this one, Eamon. This
as long as
is
it's not
beautiful.
JLE.
Yes, just as long as it's not
God, I
JLA.
thought about that in years.
Oh.
That is an excellent.
Holy mackerel.
Yep. Oof. That was rough.
That was rough.
But thank you
Gorilla on the
much on
cover
that.
may help sell comics. It doesn't mean that they're good.
That is very true. That's very true. But they've been around here on Comic Geek Speak always. What else do we have in the queue?
Well, a couple of things here addressed to me specifically came through. One of them is from John Tuttle of California. It's a nice thick pile of things, actually.
Nice. Get yourself a little closer to the mic there, Murd.
Yes, this is dated May of this year, so we're not too far behind in opening this thing from John. Adam, I hope this finds you well. I recently got rid of my 4,000 plus floppy collection that I've been building since 1967 or so.
Wow.
And as I was cataloging and recataloging and rechecking and recataloging, we know how that goes, I pulled out a few things that I thought might be of interest to you. So here, Happy Mother's Day. Don't worry, just roll with it. Some time ago on CGS, I heard you mention an interest in Sergio Aragones's Gru the Warrior. Don't think that was me, but that's okay. I've enclosed the 7 or so issues I had of that. Also, in service to your crisis role, I enclose issue number 91 of Amazing Heroes, which they billed as their post-crisis issue, and includes Mark Waid's interviews with Wolfman, Perez, Ordway, and Thomas.
Wow.
I know that Peter mentioned he had acquired digital access to an archive of AH, but there's actual cheap newsprint here for Shane to sniff.
And those of you on YouTube get to see it happen.
Wow. That is old newsprint.
Love it.
Oh, Shane.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
the cheaper it is, the more aromatic it becomes.
Yeah.
That is all.
I gotta get a sniff here.
I mean,
Man.
that is classic comic book store right there.
Full-bodied.
Oh yes, that and just to get a clearer look at this cover, look how gorgeous that is. That is beautiful. Love it.
John Fink concludes, I wanted to thank you and the boys for your work over the years, and you in particular for your dogged determination to continue the show.
Hear, hear.
I've been listening since roughly 2009, and it's been a fun ride. Oh, and another thank you in closing. I'm something of an insomniac. So as one of your correspondents recommended a long time ago, I've been going to sleep recently with Mo Hot Moo. And I've been sleeping better. Yours, JT, Dr. John K. Tuttle, La Mirada, California.
Fantastic.
Yes, I think he's a part-time journalist and freelance, like a writer of stuff, like a writer for hire. P.S. I sold my collection to Sparkle City Comics in Middletown, New York, and had an excellent experience. I could have made more piecing it out, of course, but I had no time for that, and they made me a much better offer on the whole collection than anyone else.
Fair enough.
So if you get questions about selling an entire collection, there's a recommendation.
All right.
Well done.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Tuttle.
Yes, indeed. Yep. And since 2009, a listener. How about that?
Here's all these issues of Group.
Excellent.
The Warrior. From Pacific Comics, some of them, I think.
Okay.
Oh, and here's another issue of Amazing Heroes. Probably smells just as good, with a Gru and Cerebus cover story.
Excellent.
Oh yeah.
Yep. It passes the smell test.
That was
Shane's actually. Oh,
yes.
Don't ask, just put it in your nose.
And we got one more in the Murd pile here.
Yep, it's a pretty big one, and it's from our friend Big John Morrissey down in Lynchburg, VA.
Nice.
Who, along with Eamon, is one of the most generous
He sure is.
gifts to those of us here on the show.
Good old Big John. Ooh. It's got some bubble wrap in there, some green bubble wrap.
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's a lot of stuff.
Judging by the message, it's not all for me.
Okay.
Dear CGSers, I offer these goodies as potential prizes for those who are able to muddle the Murd. If any of you want them, please help yourself before tossing them in the muddle bin. With infinite appreciation, very Starlin-esque, John, Big John, a.k.a. The Marvel Man, as he's known on the CGS forum.
Excellent.
And let's see what he's
okay.
Tomorrow's publications, Sal Buscema.
Nice.
Great book.
Very
Great
nice.
A trade of Squadron Supreme.
Ooh, that's not a first edition. Definitely from the glossiness of it.
Yeah,
also from the Marvel logo.
Glossy paper. First edition has Grunwald's ashes in
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Mhm.
I can't. Yeah, just judging from the things that are solicited inside, it's
definitely not.
Not a first. It doesn't have the ashes. But it's
If only pants were here for the next offering.
52.
Volume 1.
Mhm.
I'm going to be reading that over again shortly. I'm just about up to Infinite Crisis.
Fantastic.
And here's 52, Volume 2.
52.
Marvel Masterworks Golden Age.
Oh,
Great stuff.
Collecting Marvel Comics #1, first appearance of Human Torch, Submariner, and others.
Wow.
And also Marvel Mystery Comics #2 through 4.
Fantastic.
The Silver Age Batman and Superman World's Finest.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Collecting World's Finest #95 through 116. There's little headshots of Mixes Pitlick and Batmite on the back here. So
Cover is awesome.
Well
wacky
done.
Good fun is in store for those who read this one.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, the Wizard Magazine Big Covers book.
Oh, wow. That's great because Wizard, say what you will about Wizard, they always had terrific covers. Yeah.
The Alex Ross Spider-Man and the Wizard
Oh,
out there. We've got a
absolutely.
pretty extensive collection of Wizard back issues on the shelf behind me where I'm gesturing. So, well, thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
Some of these
Absolutely.
will find their way to the Muddle the Murd winners, I think.
Mhm.
Now, of note, this is volume 1 of the omnibus.
I was going to say,
Okay.
it's thicker, yeah.
1 through 26.
Yeah.
Okay.
This volume 2 is the individual trades,
Right.
which contains
Got it.
14 to 26, which is also in this big
Gotcha.
volume. So
Fair enough.
2 separate volumes. I know they came out in 2 formats. I have
I had a
the
feeling.
individual trades. There's 4 of them that
Mhm.
make up the 52 issues.
Yep.
And then there's 2 omnibus that make up the larger version.
Nice. Well, excellent opening of gifts.
And we should note, Ian, that
Mhm.
again, behind the curtain, timey-wimey,
Mhm.
we've already opened other gifts.
Yes, we
that will
have.
appear in a future episode.
Yes,
So we haven't
yes.
forgotten the other people who sent gifts.
No,
in.
we have not.
Yeah.
Yes, and stay tuned for that one, which
Yep.
will be coming out next week. So yes, and it is a doozy. I will reveal behind the curtain that this is indeed a spotlight that
Sure
was
is.
long in the making. So stay tuned for
Sure
that.
is.
Clear your schedule, invest a few
Sure
hours.
is.
Oh yes, and it was fantastic, and we loved it. But before coming here to record this particular episode, we all sat down
Not the spotlight episode.
at the Fox Why I'm Missing and watched Black Widow.
Oh, what fellowship.
Yep. Gorgeous theater, I have to say. Like just the setup there. I noticed as we were walking up, it was daylight out at the time, and there's some beautiful sights of like mountains in the distance and what have you when you get up there that I never really noticed before. And I didn't realize it's essentially walking distance from the Days Inn of super shows gone by.
Yep.
God, that Days Inn is terrible.
So that theater was a Fox theater first for years.
Uh-huh.
Then it was leased out to Carmike Cinemas, which
Okay.
they didn't take care of it as well.
Yeah.
And then Fox took it back over and redid it, and it is now
Got it.
again very nice.
Oh, yeah.
to go to.
A dine-in theater for that matter.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they just recently started the seat service thing, like this past year.
Yeah, they have a full bar set up and burgers and what have you that you can order if you really want to. And the screen we were watching it on was ginormous.
That's the FTX screen. It kind of wraps around the sides a little bit.
Mhm.
That's the
That's the theater we saw the 40th anniversary of Superman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That version, it's kind of their version of IMAX more than anything else,
Yes,
I
it
feel
is.
like. But yeah, we all sat down and we enjoyed it, and in varying degrees, I'm sure, and we're going to discuss it in depth here for you folks. And spoilers for those of you who have not watched it,
Yes.
begin now. So sit down, watch Black Widow. You have 2 options, mind
That's
you.
right.
Yeah.
You have 2 options. This is the first Marvel movie that is available via Disney Plus Premium. So you can pay the $30 and watch it from the privacy of your own home. Don't watch it by yourself for $30 because that's silly.
Yeah.
But if you have like a house of 4, it might make sense.
Now, when you pay the $30, do you then own the film, or you?
only for a month
A
or
month?
2.
Okay.
Well, no, you own it until it's available on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Okay,
Like
all right.
you can watch it
You
as
can
many
watch
times as you want.
times.
Right.
Also, anybody else who has a profile on your Disney Plus account can
Yeah.
watch
Okay,
it.
gotcha.
Because I did that with Raya when that came out, and we were able to watch it, and my parents were able to, and so on and so forth. But yeah, let's start with our initial impressions on the first Marvel movie in theaters in 2 years. Holy crap!
Wow, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
And we'll start from the far. Let's start off with Shane.
It was good. I enjoyed it. A little bit darker than I thought it would be.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what I was expecting. But it just the subject matter and the scenes that they did, it was a little bit darker of a film than what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I was trying to place in certain events. I know it takes place after Civil War,
yes,
before the next thing, and just trying to, as much as I've watched these, listened to these over and over again, it's been a while now, and I was trying to place it in between what her next appearance was, which I guess was the next Avengers movie.
Yeah, Infinity War. Yep.
So yeah, there's some things that the one question I'll get into later is something that happens towards the end, but I really enjoyed it. I like the cast. I thought everybody did an outstanding job, and I think it should have been. I think she should have had a movie out way long ago. This is
which I'm definitely going to mention when I get to my thoughts.
Well overdue.
100%. Yep. Murd.
Well, I'll agree with Shane that this is not the movie I thought we were going to be getting. I'm not surprised at the darkness of tone, because just knowing what I know about Natasha's background and the whole Red Room concept, I mean, there was no way this could avoid going into some dark territory at some point. I did not expect the movie to start in 1995 Ohio, of all things, and I certainly didn't expect Don McLean's American Pie to factor into the plot.
Me neither.
Anyway,
Yeah,
but there it was. And once the story got underway, I began to perceive that it's a meditation on the nature of family. Is this kind of the central theme? Like its nature and its value, and how like even artificial constructed forms of family relationships can be important and have a beneficial impact in people's lives. I thought we would have a little bit more of the. We were shown parts of Natasha's life I didn't think we would see.
Yeah,
and we weren't shown thoughts that I would. Like, I thought we'd see more about what she had to go through in the Red Room.
Yeah, I thought that too. Yeah.
And I thought we'd see at least a little bit of Clint Barton, which we did a tiny glimpse at a key point in the film, but not at all what I was expecting either.
And we heard him.
Yeah,
we did.
In a flashback.
Yeah, which he could have very easily recorded in a sound booth. Like, he didn't have to actually be there for it.
But I thought we'd get a flashback with him.
I agree. Especially since Budapest is mentioned multiple times, and that's a key factor with Clint and her. So
and thank you for saying Budapest and not Budapest, because I'm definitely with the character who was her supplier.
Yes.
I always thought it was Budapest.
If you're an English speaker, it bloody well can be. Okay, just like Paris can be Paris to English speakers. We can anglicize the names of foreign places.
However, it's always a quesadilla, not a quesadilla. Just remember that. Okay. Even if Napoleon Dynamite did it that way. No matter what. Chris.
I've seen it twice. So I went with. Well, I'm saying that because it has an impact on how I'm critiquing the film.
Of course.
I went with my dear friend Ryan, who on Thursday, and then of course You Fine Gentlemen, and I actually enjoyed the movie more the second time I saw it.
Really?
I felt a little underwhelmed the first viewing, but I don't know, for whatever reason, seeing it again, and I guess maybe more of a relaxed viewing because I'd already seen it. So
you were probably a little disoriented the first time.
Yeah, and I had the time that I'd really like kind of come engrossed in it, look for the different details.
Oh yeah.
And I was glad the darkness was there, as you mentioned, because it's the Black Widow.
Right.
And she's one of the darkest heroes in the Marvel universe because she's a killer. And they emphasize that. I mean, she murdered a little girl. Well, she thought she murdered a little girl, for example. So I like how they didn't pull back on that in any way. And they shouldn't. Like, they should really go into the price she's paid for that life. I have two big takeaways for the film. One, I concur wholeheartedly with Ian. This should have been done a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
And it felt almost like a coda in a sense that she finally got this movie after the character is dead, essentially, in the main flow of the continuity, which added like, this pathos to it as he's walking off to the ship at the end, and what's going to happen and so forth. But my biggest takeaway of the film is that we have a new Black Widow, and she stole that movie. She stole that movie.
That is a character that I cannot wait to see again.
Yep.
I was, even the first time, I was like the lines they had her say, how she was delivering the lines, the humor, mocking Natasha for her poses, everything about the way because that in the comic, I don't think Elaine is that interesting a character.
Yeah.
And
created by Greg Rucka, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or was it Greg Rucka or Devin?
I think it was Devin Grayson.
Was it
Devin
Devin Grayson?
in
Okay.
in the first one.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then eventually
Rucka did the second one.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when she first came on the scene, she was just kind of like the Black Widow poser.
Like, I want to be
Showed
the
up
Black Widow.
kill
Yeah.
Black
yeah.
Widow to take her place.
Understood.
This version, because they brought in the whole sister dynamic, and the two actors had great chemistry. You really believe that they had this relationship.
Yep, that they had been quote unquote sisters for 3 years.
And this history. And what I loved about her performance is that she's a Black Widow too, but they clearly delineate she is a very different person, and she's going to approach that role in a very different way.
Oh, sure.
The role itself had changed between Natasha's time and Yelena's time.
Absolutely.
So, but even as we assume she's going to eventually become a heroic Black Widow, probably how she's going to go about it is going to be very different. And the last thing I'll say is, when you bring in actors of the caliber of a David Harbour,
oh my God,
a Ray Winstone, a Rachel Weisz, that's a deep bench supporting Scarlett Johansson in this film. Every moment of David Harbour's performance, I was just grinning.
He was having so much fun on the screen, because he's a giant nerd. Like this is
literally giant.
Oh, absolutely, and like this is like well documented. So I'm sure he was eating up every moment of his experience. I mean, he previously played Hellboy in a not very well regarded
that didn't
movie.
do well, right?
No, it did not.
Yeah.
And I mean, even like not well regarded by the creator of Hellboy himself.
I watched it. It was fine, but I prefer the first one of the other.
I agree with you. Yes, absolutely. But I mean, this is the role for David Harbour. And for that matter, I mean, Red Guardian in the movie comes off as comic relief, but at the same time also the father figure, and that's what's so great about the entire thing.
And I loved how he proved that he did care.
Yes.
When all things pointed that he didn't.
Absolutely. I'd say my initial thoughts on the movie are, and I said this to Chris almost immediately after the movie was over. This movie should have happened 10 years ago.
We're unanimous there.
Absolutely. The fact that DC beat Marvel to the punch on having a female-led superhero movie
by a mile.
Yeah, and DC doesn't win too many races these days.
They do not.
Not with their movies.
Although I really want to see that Suicide Squad movie that James Gunn is putting out. That looks it's going to be terrific. But again, this should have happened forever ago. But there was some executive somewhere who thought that it wouldn't sell, and it didn't happen. Then Wonder Woman came out, and all of a sudden, oh, hey, let's do a Captain Marvel.
Wait,
movie.
let me ask you, because you always know the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Was that an actual determination? We're not going to do a Black Widow movie because we don't think it's going to do well?
That was said multiple times by executives at Marvel, whether they outright said so or whether it was said by other executives in the business.
That's known,
because of previous experiences, they felt like female characters would not sell on the screen because there were other movies like Tomb Raider that underperformed and stuff like that.
I thought the first Tomb Raider did well, no?
Yes, but the more recent one did not.
The remake.
Yeah. And even the first one, like it did well, but not like super well. That's why there were only two of them. But times change.
Hell yeah.
And this is a character that deserved more while she was alive. And the fact that this is now a flashback movie, filling in a gap, trying to tell us how the Avengers essentially got broken out of jail in between Civil War and
which you saw at the very end of Civil War.
Exactly.
They allude to it.
Yes. Yeah. But I did enjoy the movie. I thought that it was incredibly well done action wise. It's great that Marvel can put out these movies that are completely different styles each and every time.
As they should be, like the comics.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This one's even more James Bond than Winter Soldier was.
Yeah.
However, Taskmaster was a miss.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
And we'll get into that.
Yeah.
We'll get into that as it goes on. I still think we can get another Taskmaster easily in the universe. Just, same costume, different person behind the scenes. It could easily be done.
Yeah, someone who talks and has a personality.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I thought. Once the reveal of that came, I thought, wah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird.
And just overall, I felt like it just did not necessarily have the weight that it should have knowing that they were using this as a springboard for Yelena rather than a springboard for Natasha. Because
she's dead.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
she's dead.
Yeah.
Unless it was a scroll. You never know.
Yeah. I was
But
kind of glad we didn't get a reveal like that at the
Or
end.
they do Avengers
Yeah.
Forever.
or they do
As
Avengers
you've
Forever
posited,
and she
yes.
comes back,
Yeah.
which clearly they're doing because I said so. But
I'd actually prefer that.
as would I.
That'd be a great concept.
Oh, it would be
They could do
terrific.
so much with that.
But yeah, overall, I enjoyed what I got. It just wasn't like super wow, which is fine.
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, it's not in my top tier of Marvel films. Like when I think of what are my favorite Marvel
No,
movies.
but it's right in the middle of the pack.
But, oh, absolutely. It was. She's wonderful in the role,
Yeah.
and again, it like you say, Ian. Everything with that character now for me on the screen is bittersweet because, like,
Yes.
oh, there's so much what they could have done. I want her to
Mhm.
be Daredevil. I want her
Yeah.
like to be in all these different
Sure.
situations, and unless they do a whole series of flashbacks, which they're probably not going to do at this point,
Right.
you're just not going to get that. And well, I think her death was very powerful and made sense at the end of the Avengers
Mhm.
saga.
Sure.
There's so much more they should have done prior
But
to
now,
that.
okay, so just on that point alone,
Yeah.
Yes.
if Steve Rogers is putting all the Infinity Stones back where they belong at the moment that they were taken,
Yeah.
I would have thought that there was a possibility to bring her back from that because you're putting it back right when it was taken, but it's right
Sorry.
then
Don't
at that
worry.
time. So
Hmm.
I get it. They've already taken it and they're putting it back,
Mhm.
but
Well,
if
maybe
it's-
he did in the TVA already. He came in and
Right,
Yeah.
right, could have been. It just
Well, and actually, since you bring up the TVA, it's funny that a movie
careful
like
Loki spoiler.
I know.
Just
Very vaguely. I'm not mentioning anything to do with Loki other than what type of show it is. That there's something as sci-fi as Loki going on at the same time as this just says how deep we've gotten into the Marvel Cinematic
Yeah.
Universe.
how generically diverse.
Oh, absolutely. But at the same time, this movie felt a little bit like Captain Marvel to me in tone. With the trying to build like family while at the same time also like being a bit more humorous and throwing in those type of elements. It is middle of the pack that way for me too, along the lines.
And what's interesting about that point, Ian, is that because we're talking about the darkness of the character, the opening credits were very compelling.
Thank you.
Because the way they use Smells Like Teen Spirit,
Oh my God.
and they're showing you the geopolitical ramifications of the Red Room program and of the
Yes.
Black Widows.
Yep.
And I'm the credits is like, wow, like this is what I want, like in a Black Widow movie. There and in some ways the movie didn't fully live up to the credits, like
Mhm.
what you were seeing in the. I mean, they hinted at it when he explained his whole.
Oh, sure.
And I loved how she went back to thank you for your cooperation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they finally used what may be your greatest strength.
to
as an operative.
manipulation. Yeah.
Right.
At the same time,
Interrogation.
I'm glad William Hurt's character of General Ross was in this movie
Oh yeah.
because what did those credits remind me of the most? The opening credits to Incredible Hulk.
I haven't
Because
seen it in a long time.
yeah,
Yeah.
but those opening credits
show the
gave
snippets
us
of
like
everything,
the
yeah.
building of the Hulk and what he
Right.
became and filling in those
That's a
gaps
good
so we
point.
could get to the
Yep.
story.
Okay.
And that's a lot of what we did with Black Widow.
How did she get away from them? That was my question at the end. When they're like 2 feet away, they're going to get her. There's no viable way she could escape that airfield.
Well, she doesn't get away.
She doesn't get away.
No, but
But then how does
she gets away later after she becomes the Black Widow.
right? But
Yeah.
so when
No, he's talking about the end of
at
the movie.
the end of the
Oh,
movie,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
when Ross is
Oh.
coming to get her,
Yeah.
they're surrounding her in like 18.
All I would say is she's the Black Widow.
She
I
dyes her
guess.
hair very quickly, and they don't
Right.
recognize.
Yes.
Great. I'm like,
She's the Black Widow.
like I just expected one little snippet.
No,
of the scene.
I like how they left it to your
Okay.
imagination
Well-
how she gets out of it.
What
I
did
guess
she
she
have
just gets
blonde
out.
hair when we see her?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
does.
When
Right.
she first
Infinity War.
lands.
Right.
And then
okay, got
and
it.
then in Endgame she goes back to her red hair.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
then, yeah. So we didn't actually get to see the prison break. What I'm
Right.
assuming happens is she gets caught on purpose, and then that
Finds
leads
out
to
where
the
they
prison.
are.
Exactly, finds out where they
Yeah, I
are,
guess.
and then that leads to the whole prison break
Yeah,
itself.
all you
guess.
see is the Falcon smiling, and you know Steve is broken in. at the end.
Exactly.
Right.
So clearly, that was all part of the plan.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah.
That's my
That's-
no
that's
prize
probably
right
true.
there.
That's true.
Yeah. But let's talk about the whole build of the movie itself. And also how many Black Widows there are out there.
Yeah,
Hundreds.
like that was
Yeah,
that was enough
hundreds.
to rival Hydra
Yes.
in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. Which immediately I thought of the red herring in Civil War. The fact that we were thinking the entire time there's other Winter Soldiers out there. There's other Winter Soldiers out there. And we finally get to reveal, no, they're all dead. There's only one Winter Soldier left. This was the reverse.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because this entire time we're thinking there's one Black Widow out there, and then we find Yelena. Okay, so there's two, and then
there's all the other members of her team. So there's like 5 or 6.
Exactly, and now we know there's hundreds, if not thousands, all over the world due to this program that was happening right under our eyes.
And she has to replicate that gas.
Exactly.
We never really found out where that came from, did we?
No, not really.
They said somebody developed the woman in the beginning that Elena was chasing after. She developed it.
Okay.
Well, she had it anyway. I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure she said in the movie that she had developed it and sprayed me with it.
Okay.
I think is what Elena had explained at one point.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it more and more.
Which, by the by, is pretty classic comic book shorthand pseudoscience.
Sure.
Just a magic gas that can instantly undo painful and complicated procedure of chemical brain alteration.
Clearly.
I'm not evil anymore.
The only disconnect I found in that aspect of the story was Elena didn't seem to
Yelena.
I'm sorry.
Yelena with a Y.
Yelena.
Yeah.
Didn't seem to remember. I shouldn't say that. She had a different effect than what happened later. Like something about when she got hit with the gas and was freed and realized all the bad that she had done. Like she was like, what did I do? What did I do? Whereas later it was explained like they could remember everything they did.
Right.
But had no control. Like when the one Black Widow was down and going to shoot herself.
Right. She didn't want to do it.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. So
Yeah.
she had like a conscious interaction with what was happening. Whereas I don't think Yelena had that in the beginning from the way
that could just be a plot hole, frankly.
It could be.
It's a plot hole.
Yeah.
Few of those.
Yeah. I mean, well, clearly, what was the name of the main Russian? The main
Dreykov?
Yeah, thank you, Dreykov. Who I believe was in Marvel Comics as a character.
Well, I think Rachel Weisz is in the Red Room stories too.
I believe so.
I believe she is.
Yeah.
That character.
Let me see if I can find Dreykov.
Elena? Was that her name? Elena?
Yelena is the second Black Widow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rachel Weisz played a woman named Melina.
Melina,
the mother of the group.
Melina.
Yeah, but I mean, I believe Dreykov could influence what they were doing as well. Don't quote me on that, but like I think that was something to do with it.
Yeah.
So like it's possible that due to his machinations and his brainwashing, that's like part of the thing. Like if you try to fight what's happening, then you off yourself. That's all part of the brainwashing.
God, he was evil.
Yes, he was. Comically Russian evil.
Yes,
that's Dreykov.
Just as David Harbour was comically Russian good.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So you have the Taskmaster image. This is the one part of the film that I really didn't take to.
Yeah.
Because looked great. It's a great
costume and weapons.
Yeah, great film adaptation of the look of Taskmaster, like the hood and
even the way that Taskmaster fought was perfect.
And when they reveal, I get it. They want Natasha the connection to the girl she thought she killed.
Sure.
So there's a way to try to atone for that. I'm thinking though, as a comic fan, okay, Taskmaster in the comic is a really interesting villain who has a personality, who talks.
Yeah.
Villain and trainer of villains.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they just kind of squandered all of that and made him like this automaton who has no personality.
More Terminator than
Well,
Taskmaster.
I wasn't thrilled with the Cylon light going.
I was thinking that too. I was expecting her to say, "By your command."
And that's what, for a minute there, I thought that Taskmaster was just going to straight out turn out to be a robot. Like they were going to amazo it. Or something along those lines, where it's just like a super adaptoid where they could pick up everything that makes sense there, which then would have then allowed you to do something with the Taskmaster later on, possibly like an android version or someone more human, maybe almost like Deathlock-esque to then get another Taskmaster later on. I still think, again, you could very easily have somebody else in the Taskmaster suit later on, Ronin style, where where it was Clint and then suddenly it was Echo in the comics, which never made any sense to me because it was always drawn as a man, and then all of a sudden take off the helmet, and then ta-da, I'm Echo.
Yep, and the same thing happened here.
Exactly.
I got to ask you guys, how many of you think that it was actually a woman inside the
Definitely
suit
wasn't.
doing the stunts?
I don't think so.
No,
Highly unlikely.
No, I don't think so. I mean, if it was, then it was a very masculine, woman, which is certainly possible.
Sure it is.
But
unlikely.
I
unlikely.
agree, actually.
Yeah, they definitely made it androgynous on purpose to try to make the reveal that much more out of nowhere when it happened.
Okay, how many of us were surprised by it?
After he mentioned the daughter right before the reveal, not at all.
Yeah, that's about when I got into it.
Yeah,
too. I thought a while ago it might be a woman in the suit.
Mhm.
I didn't think it was going to be the daughter until that moment.
I was actually thinking for a minute it was, and I'm gonna get the name of Rachel Weisz's character, so I actually call her the right name. But I thought for a minute it was going to be Rachel Weisz's character. To be fair, like that it was going to be some sort of like major swerve on that she had been either brainwashed to be that character or was double crossing them the entire time. But that's not the direction that they went.
Yeah,
so.
it's the one part of the movie that disappointed me, and I wasn't. I just left me cold because
Molina is Rachel Weisz's character.
Melina.
Yes,
And
Molina.
It was when Dreykov hugged Taskmaster. I'm like, oh, that's probably his daughter.
Yeah, and for that matter too, like it was telegraphed, like especially with the lead up to that, like I killed your daughter. Like we're heading there, aren't we? And it was what it was. It was plot relevant enough to make sense.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm reacting as a reader of the books and of knowing that character.
This was not a Trevor Slattery Iron Man 3 Mandarin reveal, which was just funny. like that. And I know people have major problems with that one as well. But
I love that.
But I've never cared for it.
I've always adored it just because it was so out of left field. And we're getting
the real Mandarin soon. Yes,
I'll tell you, I didn't like it, and over the years of watching it over and over, I've come to appreciate it more. But I was with you when it first happened. I'm like, oh,
well, yeah, it's a pretty good statement about, I guess the global political economic state of affairs. Well, the Mandarin was actually just some wealthy white guy pulling strings here in the United States.
Right.
But yeah, like Shane said, I find it easier to forgive them for that now that we know that there's going to be a more authentic Mandarin on the horizon.
Oh yeah,
well, and I love that little. This is total sidebar, but that little Marvel vignette that had somebody in prison going saying, "Well, the Mandarin wants his name back."
Yeah.
And I've never seen that vignette.
Oh, you never saw that?
No,
that was included on the Thor Dark World Blu-ray.
Yeah,
which I have. Okay,
just find it an extra.
Is Coulson in it?
No, Coulson's not in it. It's what was his name? Main villain of Iron Man 2.
Justin Hammer?
The guy, Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer shows up in prison.
Oh, really?
Along with Slattery. Like that's the last time we've seen Hammer since everything went down.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, and it's a very it's of the one shots other than Peggy Carter, which became its own thing.
Great series.
That's easily my favorite of the one shots.
All right.
Because it might have actual relevancy down the road.
And now with Shang-Chi, like. It kind of does because that was what first told us there's a real Mandarin out there somewhere. So there you go.
All right.
Yeah. With this movie too, part of me is like, so yeah, we had a 2-year break. Whether we like it or not, we had a 2-year break.
Well, that I didn't mind because even in this year we've gotten WandaVision, Falcon. So in a short time, it's made up for that year of not having anything.
Oh yeah. It's just this falls into a fault of being an in-between or an also-ran because it's filling in a gap rather than continuing where we left off in Endgame, because we want to see what that world is like afterwards. And we really haven't yet outside of WandaVision and, Falcon and Winter Soldier. TV shows, sure, they're doing a good job, but this is a return to theaters.
Yep.
This is a return to everybody like, oh, hey, it's the first Marvel movie, since the pandemic. And it doesn't actually continue the overall plot in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, did it have to in order to be successful? And we're gonna have to find that out, box office wise, and just how well it does. I think it did a good job for what it was.
Absolutely.
It just may not be up to everybody's taste, because I've been seeing some people say, for instance, that it's too much like Winter Soldier for their tastes. That a lot of what it does is stuff that Winter Soldier did, with the brainwashing, with the exploding helicarrier-esque things.
That's
like
true. Yeah.
a lot of it is similar in patterns to things we've seen before, even when it's bringing new stuff in. So it's something to contemplate a little bit. Even the Russian aspect, because Winter Soldier, was dealing with the Russians in similar fashion. So who knows?
Well, Red Guardian, speaking of the Russians.
Yes.
Oh my God. You mean Crimson Dynamo? I love when she said that. No. Red Guardian.
Get out.
which really makes me hope we get Crimson Dynamo in Armor Wars, since that's the thing that they're doing.
Yes.
When we actually get there.
They're doing Armor Wars?
They're doing Armor Wars as one of the Disney Plus series.
With Don Cheadle?
As War Machine. And we don't know who else is going to be in it yet.
Wow.
It was one of the ones that was announced in this, when they were announcing everything, along with that Ironheart series as well. That's going to be coming down the pike eventually.
Wow.
So that could be very well where we see Crimson Dynamo in one form or another. I hope.
Maybe Titanium Man along with him.
Very good
Guardsman.
point.
No, sure. Let's just name all the armored characters. Android, Beetle.
Was Blizzard? Blizzard was armored too? Was not Blizzard? Sorry, the Tornado one.
Whiplash.
Whiplash.
No. Whirlwind.
Whirlwind.
Thank
Yep.
you. Whirlwind.
Not. He wore an armored costume, but
Okay.
it wasn't related to
Yeah.
him.
Got it.
Power.
You know what I'm thinking of? I'm actually thinking of the Armor Wars and the Iron Man animated series, where they took him out as part of that. Everyone forgets that ever happened because it was the 90s, animated series, but they did Armor Wars in the 90s animated series. And it was actually shockingly well done.
Oh.
Yeah. That second season was so much better than the first season.
Which show was this again?
Iron Man animated series.
Which I never watched. Was that a 90s cartoon?
That was a 90s cartoon.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the one that was on the action block with Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Yeah. The first season was not all that great.
Yeah. Yep. Are we surprised there weren't more Marvel cameos in this?
No, because of what it was, because of the time period we're looking at and the specific
She's on the
focus
run. So
about her being on the run and running back towards home in a manner of speaking.
Because the heroes would have helped her. Most of them were in prison.
Yeah.
And the others on the other side of it wouldn't
help
be
her.
exposing themselves.
Good
like that.
point.
So
which does make it her own movie as well and stand on its own, which I do appreciate a lot. Even though like we've said already, it would have been nice to have some Clint in there in the flashbacks.
He was in jail though.
He was in jail.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying
But,
flashback.
Right.
I really thought we were going to get some kind of scene with them in Budapest for what happened and what they did. Now you found out some of it in this, and that's fine. But I really expected a flashback with him in this.
Oh, absolutely. I agree entirely with that.
One other point I wanted to make, I just think I always appreciate every time she appears as the character. She so has the look and the attitude of Natasha Romanoff. Like she is the Black Widow.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the hair, the way she carries herself, and even when she first appeared in Avengers in that interrogation scene, I was like, oh wow, like she really has it. And every film, and I like it, like when she severs the nerve in her nose.
I cringed.
Oh my
Me
god.
too.
And
It hurt.
I'm pretty sure I've broken my nose at one point in my life.
Oh,
and
boy.
So it's
but
part of the reason why I can only smell every once in a while. So that really that gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Oh,
too.
sure.
but that's the character. Like that was a great touch, and I just can't laud enough her because I'm assuming it's over now with her. Most likely.
Most likely
not, but
I hope not too, but it wouldn't surprise me, especially now that she's pregnant with Colin Jost's baby. She's probably going to be more busy being a mother and having a family, which she's more than welcome to with her long illustrious career that she's had so far.
She's not even that old.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She's not even 40 yet, right?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
She in this whole Marvel universe, she is one of my absolute favorite characters that came into it with Iron Man 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that they've used her.
That's right, Iron Man 2. Yep.
So many aspects of it building to this.
Right. The character has grown tremendously from what she was in that.
Oh, 100%. Like she was basically just there to kick ass in Iron Man 2, which she did. Like that head scissors. I'll always remember that head scissors. And and the pose, no, like why do you always pose? Like, what's up with all the posing?
fantastic.
Like,
One of 100 things to love about Yelena in this movie.
Oh my
was
God.
calling Natasha out for being a poser.
Yes. And immediately, every time I was thinking of Archer. Phrasing? Are we still doing phrasing? Oh my God. But that's the language of this movie. Like, of the Age of Ultron, like Captain America with language, that's my quotable quote of this. Like, don't be a poser.
And I should say, when I say about wanting a flashback with Hawkeye, I don't think the Black Widow movie doesn't need it. That's just my own fanboy desire. But
yeah,
I'm perfectly happy that it wasn't in there, because there's not a doubt in my mind that Scarlett Johansson can carry this movie all on her own with nobody else in there.
Absolutely.
That's not what I meant by that. I just expected it, with talking about Budapest all these years in various ways through the movies.
Yeah.
I just thought we'd see it.
I agree with you very much so. Yeah.
Also, high marks for her, the scene where she's echoing lines from Moonraker.
Oh my God.
That was awesome.
Just the fact that she likes the Bond movies just makes me very happy.
Given the world she lives in.
Yeah. Did we
They're
ever
probably comedies to her,
Yeah.
Right. Oh, probably.
Did she ever actually call Mason in the entire movie? Because I see that his name was Mason.
Oh yeah, she didn't, because I had no idea what the character was called.
Yeah, OT
her quartermaster, so to speak.
OT Fagbanley is his name in real life, and I'm sure I've horribly mispronounced that, and I apologize. But her setup guy, more than anything else.
I'm wondering if
Interesting character in his own right.
Oh yes. Is he from the comics? That's the question.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I hope he's not supposed to be the Tinkerer,
Ooh,
because we've already gotten him in the Spider-Man movies, though. Phineas Mason.
Let's see.
I wonder if Yelena said it at one point
That's a possibility.
when they first met up to get the jet, and it was the helicopter. I wonder if she didn't say something Mason, but maybe not. I just can't remember.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, but either way, I liked what they did with him. He was very much the go-between character that he needed to be.
Yeah.
And I like, like at the end of the movie, like, this is what I could do when I actually have, time and money. Like,
And I like those kinds of characters, because just like Alfred is the Batman, or like they put in the first Tomb Raider movie, that guy that created the gadgets for Tomb Raider to use. I like those kinds of characters, because as brilliant as these
They can't do everything.
they can't do everything. And to have people that they trust in the know implicitly like this, that they can contact when they're in a pinch, no questions asked. I love that it came full circle at the end with Black Widow saying to him, "You are my friend," kind of thing, which is again what he wanted to hear to begin with.
You said earlier, people who have friends don't call me.
Right.
This is as much a statement of his own station in life as it is about Natasha.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed that part, and I like that there's those kinds of background characters to help.
I do have further information on his comic history. I don't know where he showed up, but this is on the wiki here for his character. In the comics, Rick Mason, also known as the Agent, was a mercenary who became a highly covert operative and freelance agent who specialized in the non-lethal handling of superhumans. He's also the son of Phineas Mason,
the Tinkerer.
Oh, yes. So there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, he was.
Murd.
Yeah, he had a brief life as a solo character.
Oh,
I don't think
he was in Secret Warriors. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's where I know him from.
Yeah, he was in one of the Marvel anthologies. I think he was just introduced briefly for a trial run. Didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah,
I don't know if he was even supposed to be a Marvel Universe character at first.
it's possible. Yeah, but
So he's Spaceman,
yeah,
which is awesome.
Yeah. What about the fight scenes in this movie?
Oh,
I think the fight choreography was incredibly well done.
yeah, I do too.
Because it could have been very easy to lose the scenes in what was happening, and there weren't too many quick cuts. A lot of focusing on what was happening rather than like scene to scene to scene to scene to scene, which could be very distracting.
I thought the fight scene at the end of all the widows was especially well done, because they were
Agreed.
shooting a lot of it from above, so you could kind of see how she's trying to deal with multiple opponents simultaneously.
And I really felt bad when they had her before they were gassed to be immunized. That they had her, and that was it. That was going to be the end of Black Widow that we know. I love the fight scene in the beginning with Taskmaster.
Yeah.
In the fact that when she went through her signature scissor kick around the neck thing.
Does the same thing.
Total countered it. And threw her.
And they both pose at each other, facing each other.
Yeah.
No, that was great. And that's why I was ultimately so disappointed with the way they handled the Taskmaster character.
I agree.
Like, oh, man.
Yeah. Because also, like, some of my favorite Taskmaster moments are when he's bantering.
Yeah, no, he's
a Brooklyn thug.
Yeah,
exactly.
I do like at the end, once she's on the ground and Natasha's there and she says, "Is he gone?" Yeah, he's gone. I did like that part.
Well, that worked in the plot.
Yeah.
My complaint is just it's rooted in the comic. That's really. I wanted them to do. When I heard Taskmaster in the movie, I was like, "Oh, fantastic!" And I wanted to see them do more with that character along the lines of how he's used in the book.
Sure.
And it's not that we're against changes of character.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
Well, okay, it depends on the change more than anything else. If it's done well and executed well within the movie, I have no problem personally. I know that I'm not everybody, and you're welcome to it.
I tend to be a little crankier about that sort of thing.
That's perfectly fine. I mean, you are a continuity nerd in every sense, and I respect that 100%. But I think that it takes away from using the character again. That's my problem.
That's my issue as well.
Yeah.
And
however, put somebody else in the suit, have them show up in Deadpool 3, because the back and forth between Taskmaster and Deadpool is one of my favorite things in the comics. Gail Simone did that beautifully during her run, and I would love to see that happen. Like, I think he would work beautifully.
Speaking of banter, when the four main characters are sitting together at the table, and they basically, through their interactions, reminded that they were a family, essentially, as they're talking past each other and arguing, and it was really well done.
That was a great swerve at the beginning too, honestly, because like I was wondering at first, like, is this going to be Alexi's actual family? Is this Natasha and Yelena? Like, we don't really get that revealed until later on in that sequence.
Are these kids even connected to the plot, or are they just going to die horribly in a few minutes?
Exactly.
I really thought, wow, Ohio? Okay, that's not where I expected to start, but okay.
Not at all.
Which immediately reminds me that I have to eventually watch The Americans on FX.
I thought that's amazing. I haven't seen it.
I haven't watched that either yet.
Yeah.
By the way, just to kind of root things in reality, I remember some years back in my home state of New Jersey, in the town of Montclair, Russian sleeper agents were exposed.
Really?
Who were living there as a family with their children.
How long ago?
Within the last decade.
Oh my God.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Look it up. Montclair, New Jersey.
Wow.
Russian
That's
sleeper agents.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. And
now,
okay.
Yeah.
Loosely related, I do listen on the Sirius XM Radio Classics. There is a show, I Was a Communist for the FBI. That's somewhat interesting. I mean, it's very dated for being made back when it was.
Right.
But it's an interesting.
Is this like a Red Scare era type thing?
Yeah, like it's an FBI agent who is working for the FBI, but he's posing as a communist to capture.
Is it a television show?
No, it was a radio drama.
Oh, okay. Probably from the 50s, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just kind of related to that in this way.
It was a great touch, though. If you may have noticed, when they landed in Cuba, and you can tell Harper has no real concern for her, even though she's been shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, oh, they're really not married. He goes off to talk to Draco because he wants to get back to being the Red Guardian again. So that really confirmed, like, oh, this is not a real family in the sense that we would understand it.
And speaking of which, the stories that he would tell, like,
Captain America,
the
tremendous.
Captain America story and all that. Like, well, wait, wasn't Captain America in the ice then?
Yeah.
Like, well, are you questioning me?
That reminds me, Murd, in the comics, does the Red Guardian have that enhanced strength? I forgot.
I think I think he eventually did.
Okay.
I mean, because in the comics, eventually by retcon, they revealed that there was a golden age.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, this was revealed in the 90s. It was a Captain America story written by Roy Thomas. His name was Alexei too, Alexei Lebedev, and he definitely didn't have powers because the Soviets were a long way from any kind of super soldier serum formula at that point. But I do think that Shostakov did get something like that eventually.
And we should remind people that in the comic, he was married to Natasha.
Yes, he was not a father figure.
no,
He was
yes.
I didn't know that.
That's why she was the Black Widow, because she'd been married to this like Hal Jordan style test pilot
whose death was faked by the Soviet government. and she thought that he had died.
That's
Okay.
funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's his first appearance in
Yes.
Silver Age Avengers.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get a bigger one up, but that was Avengers number 43 for any of you that were wondering, from 1967 with his first appearance. And I think they did a very good job of actually like building the family dynamic.
Oh, I thought it was wonderful.
Definitely.
With the short amount of time they had to
Yeah.
do so.
No,
right?
that's credit to the writing and the acting.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this started in Ohio in 1991 or was it
95.
95.
Okay. When did Captain Marvel take place? I know that was in the 90s too, but I can't remember what year Flash.
I think it was 96, if I remember correctly. So now this then fills in that
Predates.
timeline. So
Yeah.
yes, this predates that a little bit. So now we know what 95 was like in the Marvel universe. Apparently there were Russian sleeper agents in Ohio. Like that's all we really know. But
Yeah.
And by the way, are we to believe that the disc that they brought to Drakov
Mhm.
was dealt with the mind control,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I believe
Yeah.
so.
Oh, because she said they got it from Hydra scientists who were shield
Right.
scientists,
The
right?
Yeah.
North Laboratories.
Yeah, and they destroyed all the other evidence
Right.
of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and all that was well done. I mean, Red Guardian being on the wing of the plane
Because the
as they're
strength
taking
allowed them
off.
to do that. Yeah.
that was terrific.
I was surprised that Melina did betray them first at the dinner table. Like when they were all sitting down and getting nostalgic,
Mhm.
I was surprised that the next thing was, well, I already kind of let them know.
I did see that coming.
Well,
Yeah.
I saw it coming, but I was kind of surprised given what happened in the very next second with coming up with this plan to switch Natasha and Melina so that they could go about what
Oh,
they were going to do.
That was
next.
a
I'm like,
great swerve.
Yes,
because
oh, it
was.
was. It
Yeah.
absolutely was. But my point is that she betrayed them, but in like 5 minutes decided that was a mistake. Well,
Mhm.
why not just give yourself 5 more minutes to figure out if you really want to betray them and avoid that part? But that wouldn't have been serving the movie at all.
No, of course
But-
not. Yeah, but I think it certainly it worked everything
did.
together plot wise. I
Yeah.
think really well,
It did.
and I love that face technology
Yeah.
they have.
Yeah.
It goes back to Winter Soldier as well.
Yes,
Very Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
incredibly Mission Impossible, and I'm a-okay with that. Yeah.
And by the way, I thought this was the best rendition of the Black Widow costume at the end of the movie that she's wearing.
Oh yeah.
Like it really looked, because there's been kind of different versions
Oh,
of it
the-
throughout the films.
When she's wearing what her mother would have.
Yeah, no,
worn.
that
Yeah.
I think was the best interpretation of like the comic suit,
I do too.
basically. The gauntlets, the belt, like it looked really
Yeah.
good. Like it was.
shooting everything the way she was. Yeah. I thought
Which
it
leads
was
to the
good.
question: is Yelena going to be the White Widow?
That's a good question.
Because I think that is a moniker she had in the comics. At
Yeah,
one point.
I think she's using it right now. I
Well,
think.
there you go. Yeah, I mean, whether or not they're just gonna, have her be the new Black Widow, or whether she's gonna continue wearing the white outfit and be the White Widow.
I hope not the white one, just because I don't like white costumes.
I think she's
Yeah.
going to be the Black Widow at first because brand recognition and all that. And then if ScarJo ever comes back as the Black Widow,
Then she can be the White Widow.
Now, my
Yeah.
only problem with that, and this is so far up between what we're talking about, my only problem with that is it would seem very, very similar to White Canary, Black Canary from the Arrowverse. But I mean, you're talking about TV shows from now a few years ago
Mm.
and movies coming out.
Right.
But just in my head, I'm like, oh,
I don't think
very
I don't think that's really too much of a problem.
No,
because,
it's not only in my head.
Oh
is it
no,
a
no,
problem?
of course, yeah. I mean, I think that they're separate enough, and
sure they are.
one's DC, one's Marvel. Like it doesn't really play into
Once
it.
Arrowverse TV versus big budget movies.
Absolutely, yeah. But it's funny too, because since we are discussing movie, let's talk about that stinger. That we're not leading to the next movie,
Right.
That we're leading to
The Hawkeye series,
the
yeah.
next live action series, because the next
What If?
series in the queue is animated, and that would be What If, coming out in August. But this is leading into the Hawkeye series, which I assume is probably either September or October.
That's soon. Okay.
They've been filming it, so
Okay.
it's pretty
I
close to
thought,
done.
I thought they were done filming. I thought
They
I
may
heard-
be done filming, actually, because I remember seeing the on-set shots of Pizza Dog and Kate and,
Fantastic.
and all that stuff. So that's certainly set in.
So they're going to
done.
go into some of the fraction stuff then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's almost going to be entirely fraction.
All right.
Which I'll be curious about.
Where's his wife
since-
going to be then?
Well, that was just going to say
exactly.
Since,
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
since he's reunited and all the kids are there, like
Now he's living in an apartment building.
yeah,
We'll see.
I don't know, but as long as we get the bro
Oh,
Russian
the
mobster bro,
tracksuits.
then that's fine by me. And the Russians make sense Because if he's dealing with Russian mobster bros, maybe they have ties to the Russians. Yelena,
She can infiltrate.
it all makes sense, in that overall scheme. But the fact that we got Contessa in that scene yet again, Vanessa making herself known, which makes me wonder if they reshot that.
That's what I said to Pants on the way out.
Because if they'd done it before, if this had come out before Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
right,
it wouldn't have had the same impact because they assume everybody's seen the television, so they're going to know who this person is.
Right,
exactly.
I thought that was the only thing that was either added or reshot.
Yeah.
For this,
I was especially thinking that because the actress, now I'm blanking on her name because that's the way I work.
Florence Pugh?
Yes, thank you. Florence Pugh looked a little different in that shot. Like it looked like her face had changed a little bit, like whether or not
a little bit older.
Exactly, a little bit older, because that most of this film was filmed like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I had heard originally that Contessa was supposed to first appear
I remember you telling me that
in Black Widow, and if that's the case, they would have had to reshoot it because she's already shown up. So, like, if you're introducing her as something new, it's not going to make any sense anymore,
right? Because the way it was shot, you assume the filmmakers are assuming people have already seen this character in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Sure, yes, which is a very bold assumption to make, by the way. Because not everybody has Disney Plus.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's going to be people out there, which is the case with almost all these movies, where when you have a stinger that has to do with another movie in the franchise, you're going to run into that problem every now and then where people are going to be like, what the hell is this?
Well, to a certain extent, I'm not worried about those people because
I know.
Neither is Disney.
It's not my job.
Yeah.
And even Disney, it's not their job to make sure everybody watches everything. If you're interested, you'll go find it out.
Yeah, that's what
You
they're
shouldn't
counting
be
on.
spoon-fed to every. Oh, they are.
It's part of their marketing strategy.
It is.
Most definitely.
It is, but even so, like I didn't need to be spoon-fed everything that I read in a story or a comic book when I was growing up. If I wanted to know, I went and found out about it.
Sure.
Sometimes the editor would put that little blurb in, which
I love those.
dearly, but
Yes.
if not, I would go ask somebody or I'd look at another book. Like,
Oh my God. Part of me wishes we could see those on
there.
screen. Part of me wishes we could see those on screen. Just like we're watching the movie. Like see Black Widow for more details. You know,
but like
Eventually we will. I can almost guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
But even though there wasn't the internet back then when I was growing up, I still found out this stuff from various avenues.
No, I'm right there with you, brother.
And I didn't have a big network of friends that read comics. It was like go to the comic store, ask a question, or read a magazine, or I don't know, but
find the back
it
issues.
was just not the need to spoon feed me every single thing. I went and saw.
Sure.
By the way, since you're getting a little outraged now, I love, because this is consistent. Every time I go to these movies with you, when people start to leave before the post-credit scene, Shane gets outraged every time.
Almost 15 years of this,
wow.
2008. And so, like, people are getting up in the middle of the credits. I'm like, are you stupid?
And for anybody who says, well, I mean, I don't care. Well, then you didn't see the entire movie that you paid for.
Might as well have left halfway through the movie.
Right,
Exactly.
Right. And that's fine. If they don't want to do it, it's fine. I can't change stupidity.
Although
They want to beat traffic.
Traffic.
Yeah. Which, by the way, as a baseball fan, I find offensive. Whenever anybody leaves in the seventh inning to beat the traffic, why did you bother going to the game? The game is not over. That's it.
Right.
100%. Only excuses if you have a job to go to, or in my one instance of leaving early, I had an advanced screening ticket to see the Incredible Hulk in theaters, and that's it.
Now I know my dad and I left the game early in the seventh inning. I think he had to be back for something with my mom.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
The game was running long. I'm like, okay, we can't take
if you have a legitimate
hour
excuse, sure.
Yeah.
If you're doing it to beat the traffic, you're not a real baseball fan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Period.
I love the can of worms that just opened here.
Oh
Tremendous.
my God. Absolutely.
Well, it's
Stay
no
there
different.
for every out.
You're damn right.
Because anything can happen in those last two innings.
Yes.
I don't care if they're behind 10 runs. Something can happen.
Right.
Although-
As a real fan, you got to believe that.
Yep.
Last game I left early because I had work to do specifically, and the Yankees were winning like 13-3. So like I got home and they had won 13-3. So at least I was safe.
But normally, like, okay, so when my
Yeah.
dad and I did that, we got in the car, I put it on the radio, and we listened to the rest on the way home because
Of
we wanted to know
course.
what was going on.
100%. Yeah. Oh, and since we're talking about, people getting up and leaving, we will mention behind the curtain, Pantser Rooney was with us. And as expected, as is standard, the minute that the trailers came on,
He walked out.
He walked out,
He did,
and then he walked back in right as that last trailer was finishing up.
He did
Sat
time it
down.
pretty well.
So he saw a couple scenes from Disney's Jungle Cruise, but I think he can live with that.
Yeah.
I think so too. Safely, he can live with that. We'll go over the trailers we saw real quick since they are related, other than Jungle Cruise because nobody cares. But we saw the new trailer for Shang-Chi, which I forget if we mentioned on
We have
CGS.
We have not yet.
Thoughts, Mr. Shang-Chi?
I'm really excited about Shang-Chi being brought to the screen.
Agreed.
Again, this is only based on the trailer, so obviously this could change.
Mhm.
The Shang-Chi we're going to get is not the Shang-Chi of the comic book.
Oh, sure.
Seemed like it.
And,
to me.
and I'm a little bit disappointed in the 10 rings because that's not the 10 rings I want to see.
They're not, but they're pretty cool looking. And
They are.
Yeah.
really interesting, a visually interesting weapon. But yeah, they're not the magical.
Compared to the
finger
10
jewelry.
rings, which again, the one bad guy in Iron Man 1 had one of the rings
Mhm.
in front of the whole 10 ring symbol.
I think they shrink, to be honest with you. I think that they can be rings.
Well,
and
if they were all
rings,
forged in
like,
Mordor,
Does
that's
one of them fire a
fine.
disintegrator beam and one of them
We'll
flies?
I
find
certainly
out.
hope so.
And did they come from an ancient McLuhan spaceship? Answer me that, Ian.
well, you know what, Murd? I'm just gonna have to see the movie and find out.
And we will, but I mean, I'm really excited for it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I
Oh, it looks spectacular.
We're going.
I always love
definitely.
martial arts film. I just, and I'm fine. I mean, the Shang-Chi of the comic was moody, introspective,
Mhm.
and very much of a time. I've raved about that book. I think it's one of the great Marvel finite series. I could be wrong because the trailer, but it doesn't look like we're really going to get that in this film.
I think the character might, but there's definitely going to be humor because you have
Awkwafina is in it,
Awkwafina.
who I like quite a bit as
Exactly.
an entertainer.
Me too.
Yeah.
And that, they got to ground it for the audience, give you that point of view
Sure,
character. I understand that.
And Simun Wu, the actual actor playing Shang-Chi, is terrific.
Well, I've seen it. I watched a couple episodes of Kim's Convenience.
He's great.
It's excellent. Yeah. No,
He's a
I'm.
terrific
I've
actor.
no problem with the choice. I'm just. It's again, it's a comic book thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm when I think of Shang-Chi, I think of a certain tone.
Yep.
Mhm.
And that's probably not going to. Now, I could be totally wrong.
Mhm.
And for me, Shang-Chi, when I thought about will they ever do Shang-Chi, I always thought it would be like a Netflix series.
Yeah.
Because the world of that character lends itself to that type of format. But
Which is funny that you mention it because now I have to ask the question before I discuss the Suicide Squad trailer, which was fantastic. Would this movie that we just saw have worked better as a Disney Plus series, where it had longer to flesh itself out?
Only if it was put out when she was alive, because I
Got it.
think putting it in a
Mhm.
series on TV,
Good point.
you expect it to be followed up with something more.
Mhm.
Now, that's not to say that they couldn't have a special or something that does have an interesting story with Black Widow. She
Mhm.
comes back, does a couple episode series or a finite telemovie for Disney Plus. Okay, fine. But no, I don't think it would have lent itself as well to a series. I think for my taste, I wanted it to be a movie because she deserved a movie.
Yes.
My I've mentioned this before, and again, like with Shane, while the character was still alive, I wanted to see Black Widow interacting with Matt Murdock
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
in like a long form adventure,
Yeah.
which would have been superb. I have no doubt with those two actors, but we just didn't get that.
Who's this Matt Murdock character? He's not in continuity of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, according to Mr. Kevin Feige. I don't know. Like that's.
But I've heard rumors he's appearing in one of the future films.
Still continues to be rumors until it
Okay.
happens. You know as well as I do, sir.
That
Yeah.
would be awesome.
Charlie Cox playing somebody anyway.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But
No,
I would be very surprised if it were anybody else.
And I
it
don't-
has to be Matt. It
And
has
I
to
don't,
be.
yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
need him to be Daredevil in it. I just need him to be Matt
Oh,
as
absolutely.
a lawyer. in it.
Because Peter Parker is going to need a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense. Like
because his identity's been exposed.
well,
Yeah.
one of two things is going to happen. It's either going to be Matt or it's going to be Jennifer Walters. Considering
Okay.
she's got a series coming up,
I
that would
hope
be the
it's
other way to
Matt
do it.
before Jennifer.
I would agree with you.
But
yeah,
My frustration with that whole thing, Shane, is that the Daredevil television series was absolutely outstanding. It's one of the
Agreed.
best things I think they've done, period.
Mhm.
To go to the heart of a character
Yeah.
and to sideline it.
Yeah.
Yep.
When it's all ego and all the crap that goes on with these
Mhm.
all
these
leads.
titans of.
Oh, I
You know,
completely agree. Blame Ike Perlmutter more than anybody else, because frankly, he's the one who was kind of like the guy on the side trying to keep his side of things when it was long past his prime. So go figure. I'll just end with Suicide Squad conversation real quick and just say that I cannot wait for this movie.
Venom Part 2. We saw that one.
That is a movie that exists. I agree.
I never saw the
So is
first
Venom
Venom.
Part 1. Neither did
never
I.
saw the first one.
I saw the first one. I've described it on the show before this way. I'll say it again. It's an excellent 2004 Marvel.
All right, that says a lot.
Like
Okay.
like Daredevil era, like Affleck Daredevil era. It has that feel to it.
I didn't like the Affleck Daredevil movie.
Neither did I.
The director's cut's
I
better.
watched it.
Yeah,
It's a little better.
but like it's that era of
I understand
of
completely.
X-
And
of
Tom
Marvel.
Hardy is a great
Oh, yeah.
actor.
He is.
Yeah.
He's a great actor.
And you, I mean, come on, Woody Harrelson,
Perfect choice.
Role as
Cletus
Cletus Cassidy.
Perfect choice.
I will watch it for that alone. I'm just not expecting a lot.
My problem with any Venom movie that's put out like this, you can't have Venom without Spider-Man.
I agree.
So if you
Do they even mention Spider-Man?
Not
No.
yet. We've seen like echoes of him. I mean,
Yeah.
Daily Bugle was shown.
Yeah.
Although it's the Daily Bugle, it looks like the Daily Bugle of the Raimi movies more than the Daily Bugle of the MCU movies, just from the layout of it. Like it looked like even the Daily Bugle logo of the Raimi movies, which is interesting.
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Good
and,
point.
and if they bring it in that way, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was disappointed that Venom and Eddie come together without Spider-Man being involved at all, because to me that's a huge part of
Yes.
why
Oh,
Venom
God,
goes
yeah,
to Eddie.
yeah.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
to me it takes away from that character.
And he can't even have a spider symbol on his chest as Venom. Like
Yeah.
they had to take that away
Oh,
from
really?
the design. There's
Okay.
no, there's no like black costume-esque symbol to focus on. It's just all symbiote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which still looks all right, but still, like I like the black and the white, dichotomy of the.
Total sidebar, and this is really off track. Oh my God.
That's what we do.
I just watched a documentary or read something talking about the 1989 Batman movie.
Mhm.
The whole reason his chest symbol was different,
Yeah.
they didn't have the rights to do the right symbol on that costume.
Get out.
That's
really?
what
Really?
I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
You get the whole rest of the movie, you get the movie poster, you got the rights. His costume couldn't have it for whatever
That's
reason.
so weird.
Wait.
Bizarre.
They couldn't have a certain version of the chest symbol?
Yeah, because like this, people on the screen, this
Yeah.
is what it should have
Mhm.
been, right?
Yeah.
In the movie, it's got these two little flares.
Oh
at the
yeah,
bottom.
the extra wingtips.
Yeah.
Right.
And I always wondered why. I mean, I got
Huh.
used to it and I kind of like it now,
Yeah.
but I'm 99%
Huh.
sure that's what I just
Interesting.
Heard, read,
That's
saw.
fascinating.
yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of
Which is also funny why for years, DC couldn't make a,
Batman
Batman 89, comic book
yeah.
because of rights. And now I guess because he's back in the world of movies, they were able to finally make that deal happen for the upcoming Batman.
And let me
89
ask you
comic.
about that. What?
Yeah.
So Michael Keaton's going to appear in a Flashpoint movie?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that is
As
the
an
case.
elder Bruce Wayne,
As an elder Bruce Wayne. Yes.
who was Batman.
Mhm. And he may
All
very
right.
well be the Bruce Wayne we wind up seeing moving forward, since Batfleck is no longer going to be a thing.
But I thought he was supposed to be in this too,
He
in
is.
Flashpoint.
They both are. I don't know in what capacity. You never know.
When is that supposed to come out?
Next year, I believe.
Yeah.
All right.
I think
Yeah.
so.
But I'll mention Suicide Squad talking about tone. That is absolutely James Gunn in every single
Yeah.
way. I'm all for it, and it looks so much better than the last Suicide Squad movie.
So much
I just
better.
can't believe what they're going to go wrangle.
Oh, the Starro. Yes, I know. It certainly seems like it's going to be a little bit of a different Starro, but
It does, but now given that,
yeah.
I do want to hear somebody in the JLA going, "Oh, well, we could have handled that." Because that's a huge part of how they came into being.
That's
What-
right.
It's right there on the cover of their first
Right.
appearance.
Do you guys know who's voicing King Shark, by the way?
Oh yes, I can't remember his name.
Sylvester Stallone.
Oh,
Really?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking of the guy who was this on-set double. It's a
Oh.
comedian who was a supporting player on the Sarah Silverman program.
Yeah,
Huh.
I know who you mean. Yeah,
Redheaded
I
guy.
did
Yeah.
not know Sly Stallone was going to be King
Yep.
Shark.
yeah. Him and James Gunn are buddies.
Because
Oh, sure.
he was in the second Guardians film. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Mhm.
Is that the Polka Dot Man?
Yes.
It
Yes, it
is
sure
the
is.
Abner the Polka Dot Man Krill. I'm a superhero.
James Gunn actually has said in interviews he specifically went out of his way to find the lamest supervillain he could find and was like, I need to put him in my movie.
And what
Yeah.
book is he from?
He was a Batman villain.
Batman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in the
Now,
Dick
the
Sprang
only-
days.
Okay.
The only more lame one would have been the Condiment King.
Mm.
I couldn't, other than the Polka Dot Man, I can't think of anybody else that would have been
Eh.
lamer if that's what he was going after.
Oh my god.
And who's the character in the yellow and gold outfit?
Yellow and gold.
Oh,
Oh,
are you thinking of Javelin?
Yeah.
I
With
think
the
that
long
is.
blonde
Yeah,
hair,
Yes.
being played by Flula Borg. Yeah,
That's Javelin.
Javelin.
Okay.
He was a Green Lantern villain
Okay.
in the 80s.
Yep.
And he
All
was
right.
actually in the Squad in the comics.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's going to be a Peacemaker
Well, yeah.
series
Yeah.
to go along with the
Is there
Suicide
really?
Squad movie. Yeah, John Cena.
Well, they went all in on the costume with Peacemaker.
They sure as heck did. Oh my god.
And even the logo for the movie is
Yeah.
1,000 times better because
Yeah.
it's the logo of the comic.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very much looking forward to that. DC's doing a much better job lately.
And that's still Margot Robbie as
That's still
Harlequin,
Margot
right?
Robbie.
yeah.
Okay.
And her costume keeps getting better and better with each
Yeah.
next movie. I feel like it's way less skimpy now, for one thing.
Yes, thank goodness.
And she's just feeling more Harley as time goes forward.
Great
Um,
actress.
Yeah.
Not that I just don't think that the skimpiest costume that was in the first one was needed. It's just
I
not a
agree.
place to be.
I agree entirely. But that's also New 52 for you.
It
right
was,
there.
it
Like
was.
New 52 was like, that's the edgy.
That wasn't
and-
edgy. I
and
thought that was
that's
stupid.
that ended. That's it. It's
And
over.
my last question, because I'm a little ignorant of some of these characters.
Yeah.
Who was Idris Elba playing?
Oh, he's playing Bloodshot.
Oh, I know Bloodshot is.
Mhm.
Who's
Okay.
not
Right.
Deadshot.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely
right.
not Deadshot.
Yeah.
Even though they're using him because they couldn't get Will Smith.
Oh, wait,
basically.
a Bloodsport. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Bloodshot is a Valiant character.
That's right.
He
Got
has already had his own movie. Yeah.
Yes.
Bloodsport was a post-crisis Superman villain.
Thank you. Which is
Okay.
also why they say that he shot, Superman with a kryptonite bullet
Yep.
because he did that in the comics.
Yep.
Okay.
So go figure. All right. Final thoughts on the movie. Where do you think this is going from here? Are you looking forward to the Hawkeye series even more after
Yes.
that?
Oh,
post-credit
immensely.
scene?
Immensely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we'll
Seeing-
get Hawkeye and Black Widow together in some form at
Yeah.
least.
Yes.
And I really
absolutely.
hope that by the end of it, they come together and then go against.
Oh, I'm
The
sure.
Countess,
Most
because
likely.
that would be great.
That would be
Mm.
awesome.
Well, you have to find out what is Val really about. Does Val know Nick Fury in this universe?
Right.
Right? Do they have some kind of history?
Oh
Probably
boy.
not.
Well,
Um,
and there is that Secret Invasion series coming up with Sam Jackson,
Right.
which makes me wonder, is Val going to factor into that in one way or
And
another?
and who does she work for?
Mhm.
Like, what is her whole? Like, she got John Walker involved.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who said this could be a Thunderbolts buildup? Is that you, Murd?
I didn't. But
Is that
But
your
it-
idea?
It had to be
I mean,
you.
I said
Wasn't
that.
me.
Yes, I said
Yeah.
that during Falcon and Winter Soldier that
Yeah.
I hope we get that in one form or another, just because Zemo's still out there. I mean, even if he is
True.
locked up, we could be heading there.
So we just need to get together enough surviving Marvel villains from other projects to
Yes.
reform them. And
Mhm.
if Suicide Squad does as well at the box office as it seems it deserves to,
Oh, yeah.
that'll make the Thunderbolts project that much more likely.
Look, I don't care if Vulture's never been on the Thunderbolts. If you can get Michael Keaton in as Vulture as part of a Thunderbolts series, I'm game.
Now
Hmm.
that we have Michael Keaton as Vulture and some of these other Spider villains,
Yeah.
I really want a Sinister Six.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's just we would just need to make it work where Sony and Marvel have to play nice because a lot of these villains are being introduced in their own movies.
Yeah.
Because Michael Keaton is going to be in the Morbius movie. Are
they still doing the Morbius movie?
Yeah.
a trailer came out. So
I haven't
like,
seen that.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
but it came out a while ago.
Yeah, like just before the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was, in fact, actually, you know what? No, it was, they started talking about it before the pandemic and then it premiered during the Super Bowl. I remember that.
Yeah.
God, I totally missed that. All right.
Yeah. And then they haven't talked about it since. They delayed it until I think early next year.
Who's playing Morbius?
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jared Leto.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is could be great or could be bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's
I
an
agree with
excellent actor. I mean, he definitely has the bright look, I think, for the character.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
his
actually-
physicality.
Did like him as the Joker. I didn't like how they designed the Joker. I didn't like the gold grill. I didn't like all the tattoos everywhere. I just didn't think that looked like the Joker.
I also didn't really like the affect he was putting on as the Joker. it wasn't my favorite, all things considered.
No, it wasn't my favorite.
Yeah. Juggalo Joker, no thank you. Like not my bag.
Well, to go back to your earlier question, I think, like you said, and I concur,
Mhm.
I really wish we'd gotten Natasha's arc done in a way that this is not a coda to the fact that the character already died.
Certainly.
Yeah.
But
And
that is
part of that selfish that I wanted another Black Widow movie.
Mhm.
Even
Yeah.
before seeing this, I knew I was going to want another Black Widow.
absolutely.
Oh yeah.
That aside, I think this movie did a excellent job at really going into the heart of the character
Mhm.
and getting her to the point where we know that she wiped all the red off her ledger and she found the family that she never. Well, she found the two families that she never really had before. So,
and most importantly, she didn't say anything as stupid as "I don't think this is a party," like she did in the Avengers movie, where like that was not good. That was the worst Whedon line in that entire movie, frankly. Like, I don't know how you could call this a party. Like, really, come on. But she was great. Otherwise,
she's wonderful. Yeah. And again, as you said, this movie is also a great springboard for this new and sensational Black Widow.
Very deft transition, passing the torch. Yeah. And one thing that Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova brings to that role that ScarJo never did, an accent.
Yes, that's very true. A very good point there. And I would also say that I hope that we get Red Guardian in the next Captain America movie.
Yep.
I would love to see him come back.
Oh, he's so good.
And interact with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think that would be a terrific.
Well,
there could be a whole Winter Guard.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be great. Get Union Jack in there somehow too, and then just like throw in every single possible,
every international Marvel character you can get your hands on.
Make it happen.
And I was going to say, at least now we have Melina and Alexei still out there.
Yes.
To do something in the future.
I think there's going to be a Yelena Disney Plus series that they're going to announce soon. If they don't announce her own movie that as Black Widow 2, then they'll probably wind up doing a Black Widow or White Widow Disney Plus series as the next round, as she's possibly trying to round up these other widows and that be her arc and possibly run into other heroes along the way. I think that would make perfect sense.
Yes, perfect series concept.
100%. Fracking swears, gentlemen. Shane?
Oh, I give it a 5. I loved it.
Excellent.
Long overdue.
I'm not giving it a 5. I'm feeling 3 3/8.
Nice.
A 4.
I give it about a 3.5 personally. I think that it is a perfectly serviceable movie, and I think I probably will like it more on second watching.
I liked it more on second watching. Yeah, I did.
I just wish, it's almost entirely my bias that this movie should have happened before it happened.
Yeah.
That she deserved this way earlier in continuity, and that's the way I feel about it. But still, very fun movie. Had a great time. Can't wait to see what happens in Hawkeye after this.
Oh yeah. And on a personal note, damn good job to finally do a new movie review on this program.
Oh
yeah, long time.
You're damn right. And to see it in person with you fine gentlemen, that was an extra awesomeness. So here to that.
Step for me. I'm very comfortable sitting at home watching these movies come out.
Oh boy, yeah, and the fact that I get to do that for Suicide Squad because I have HBO Max, like that's
me too.
That's gonna be a super good time to watch that in the privacy of my own home.
I'm going straight to the theater for that one now.
Amen. There you go.
Coming out on my dad's birthday.
There you go. Very nice.
I'll drag him along.
There you go. Once again, thank you, the audience, for listening to this. And here, as we sit in the studio, I sign off by saying patreon.com/comicgeekspeak for any of you who would like to continue to donate to the show. Any of you who have done so before, you are excellent and awesome. And you could do so also at comicgeekspeak.com/donate.php for any PayPal donations if you are not a Patreon person. Those are a lot of P's. So,
Shaney Poo.
With that, Shane, the floor is yours once I grab the right mouse and hit credits.
Visit us on comicgeekspeak.com to send us an email. The address is comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. To leave a voicemail, the number is 267-702-6642. Stop by thecomicforum.vanillacommunity.com and let us know what you think of Black Widow. Follow us on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. I did that fast backwards again. We'd like to thank everyone who does contribute to the episode. We do appreciate it. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.